Good day everyone! For today's discussion, we will talk about identifying regions under normal curve corresponding to different standard normal values. Normal curve. These are the properties of a normal curve. The distribution curve is bell-shaped. The curve is symmetrical about its center. The mean, median, and mode coincide at the center. The tails of the curve flatten out indefinitely along the horizontal axis but never touch it. We have here our z-score table. We use this to calculate the area under normal curve. We will also base our area on our z-score table later. And these are the parts of z-score table. The left column, which is z-values, this tells you how many standard deviation above the mean to one decimal place. And the top row, which is 100 place of a z-values, gives the second decimal place, and the intersection of a row and column gives the probability. We have here example number 1. Find the area that corresponds to z is equals to 2. So, since 2 has no decimal, then we will only align it to 2.0. We will also align it here on 0.00 since it has no decimal. So, our area that corresponds to z is equals to 2
is 0.97725.
So, paano ba natin ma-determine yung normal curve? So, may sample graph tayo dito. So, since 2 lang yung nakalagay, we will shade it only until yung 2. So, this is our graph. Another example. Find the area that corresponds to z is equals to 2.63. So, here we have a decimal. So, first, we will look at the whole number, which is 2. Then, we will look at the first decimal place, which is 6. And then we will look here. Then, titignan natin dito yung 2.6. So, yung 2.6, i-align natin doon sa 3. 3 kasi 3 yung last decimal place. Tapos, yung 3, i-align din natin sa 2.6. So, the area that corresponds to z is equal to 2.63 is 0.995.73. Our graph here in our normal curve is lagpas siya ng 2 kasi 0.63. So, start natin dito hanggang dito. So, we have here our table. We have here the first condition, greater than to the right, at least, more than, above. The sign is positive. The notation is probability of z is greater than a. Then, the operation that we will be using is subtract the area corresponding to the given from 0.5. Another condition, greater than to the right, at least, more than, above. The sign is negative. The notation is probability of z is greater than negative a. Then, the operation that we will be using is add 0.5 to the corresponding area. Another condition, less than, at most, no more than, not greater than, to the left. The sign is positive. The notation is probability of z is less than a. Then the operation that we will be using is add 0.5 to the corresponding area. Another condition, less than, at most, no more than, not greater than, to the left. The sign is negative. The notation is probability of z less than negative a. Then the operation that we will be using is subtract the area corresponding to the given from 0.5. Another condition, if the condition is between a and b, and if it has a same sign, the operation that we will be using is subtract the biggest area by the smallest area. And if it has a different sign, Add the biggest area by the smallest area. So, example number 1. Determine the area under the standard normal curve to the right of z is equals to 1.43. 1 is the whole number and the first decimal place is 4. Then, titignan natin dito yung 1.4. Tapos, yung last decimal place is 3. So, i-align natin sa 3. So, the value that corresponds to z is equals to 1.43 is 0.92364 kasi yung intersection is 0.92364. Then, since may to the right na word at positive yung sign, we will subtract it to 0.5. So, 0.5 minus 0.92364 is equals to negative 0.42364. So, that is our area. So, paano ba tayo mag-graph dito? So, to the right, tapos z is equals to 1.43. So, sabi nga dito to the right daw ng 1.43. So, mag-i-start tayo dito. So, this is only a rough graph. So, start tayo dito hanggang dito. Another example. Determine the area under the standard normal curve to the right of z is equals to negative 0.73. So, wala tayong whole number. Therefore, titignan natin yung first decimal place which is 7. So, titignan natin dito yung may 0.7. Then, i-align natin doon sa 3. Then, the last digit is 3. I-align natin doon sa 0.7. Then, the value that corresponds to z is equals to negative 0.73 is 0.23270 because that is the intersection. Since we have here the word to the right and the sign is negative, we will add it to 0.5. So, 0.5 plus 0.23270 is equals to 0.7327 and that is our area. So, yung graph natin dito is to the right. Tapos, yung given is z is equals to negative 0.73. So, mag-i-start tayo dito. So, start tayo dito sa before ng negative 1 kasi 0.73 yung nakalagay hanggang dito because to the right daw. Another example, determine the area under the standard normal curve to the left of z is equals to 1.52. So, we have here a whole number which is 1 and the first decimal place is 5. So, we will look here. So, may 1.5 dito. Then, since yung 2 yung last digit, we will align it to 2. Then, we will align the 2 to 1.5. Then, the intersection is 0.93574. So, the value that corresponds to z is equals to 1.52 is 0.93574. Since may word na to the left and positive yung sign, we will add it to 0.5. So, 0.5 plus 0.93574, the answer or our area is 1.43574. So, yung graph naman natin dito is nag-start siya dito hanggang dito. It is stated here in our example that to the left of z is equals to 1.52. So, mag-i-start tayo dito sa 1.52 hanggang dito. So, this is only a rough graph. Okay? Another example. Determine the area under the standard normal curve to the left of z is equals to negative 0.54. So, wala tayong whole number dito. So, we will look at the first decimal place which is 5. And then, we will find it here. So, dito yung 5. Tapos, titignan natin yung last decimal place which is 4. Then, itatapat natin sa 4. Tapos, yung 4, itatapat din natin sa 0.5. Then, yung intersection, yun yung value that corresponds to z is equals to negative 0.54 is 0.29460. Since may word na to the left and the sign is negative, we will subtract it to 0.5. So, 0.5 minus 0.29460, then our area is 0.2054. Paano ba natin to i-graph? Sabi nga dito, to the left of z is equals to negative 0.54. I-start tayo dito sa 0.54. So, just imagine na meron dito negative 0.54 hanggang to the left. So, hanggang doon. Another example, what if the situation is in between? So, find the area under the standard normal curve to the left of z is equals to 1.0 and z is equals to negative 0.42. So, first, we will find the value that corresponds to 1.03 and negative 0.42. So, hahanapin nga natin yung 1.03. Since yung whole number is 1 and 0 yung first digit niya, we will align it to 0, 1.0. So, yung last digit is 3, so i-align natin sa 3. So, our intersection or the value is 0.84849. We will find the value of negative 0.42. So, since ang whole number, we will look for the first decimal place, which is 4. Then, the last decimal place is 2. Then, itatapat natin. Then, the intersection is 0.33724. So, the value that corresponds to z is equals to 1.03 is 0.8449. And the value that corresponds to z is equals to negative 0.42 is 0.33724. Since we have different sign, we will add it. So, 0.84849 plus 0.33724. Our answer or our area is 1.1853. So, paano ba natin ito i-graph? Since in between siya, naka-state naman dito na to the left of z is equals to 1.03 and z is equals to negative 0.42. So, mag-i-start tayo dito sa 1.03. So, mag-i-start tayo dito to the left daw. So, pupunta tayo sa negative 0.42. Isa-shade natin dito yung rough graph natin. So, hanggang dito. Another example. Example number 6. Find the area under the standard normal curve to the right of z is equals to 0.23 and z is equals to 1.13. So, first, hahanapin natin yung value ng 0.23. Since walang whole number yung 0.23, we will look the first decimal place, which is 2. Then, we will look here. Tapos, since yung last decimal place is 3, we will align it to 3. Then, the intersection is 0.59095. Then, hahanapin din natin yung value ng 1.13. So, may whole number tayo dito, which is 1. And the first decimal place is 1. Hahanapin natin dito yung 1.1. Then, yung last digit is 3. I-align natin dito kay 3. So, our intersection or the value of 1.13 is 0.87076. Since magkapareho sila ng sign, isusubtract natin. So, 0.59095 minus 0.87076. Our area is negative 0.27981. So, paano ba natin ito i-graph? Meron tayong word dito na to the right of z is equals to 0.23. Here in our rough graph, sinimulan ko siyang i-shade dito sa 0.23. Example, may 0.23 dito. Hanggang sa lagpas ng 1 kasi 1.13. So, this is our rough graph.